Inside Roblox there are players who, if you're not careful enough, can end up causing real harm. Not inside the game, but outside of it. And the case I'm about to tell you today is one of those players. A boy so disturbed that he ended up doing truly dark things to his own family. This case is told by someone who asks to remain anonymous. For this video, we'll call him Ethan. Ethan says everything began when he was 14 years old. He was a completely normal middle school student. He had a few friends, didn't stand out much, and his grades were average. Ethan really liked video games, but there was one in particular that had him completely hooked because of everything you could create and experience inside it. And yes, that game was Roblox. At that time, Roblox wasn't nearly as popular as it is today. Because of that, Ethan never told anyone at school that he played Roblox. Back then, kids who played that kind of games were bullied. They were called weird. In his classroom, there was one boy that everyone knew he played Roblox. He was very quiet, barely talked to anyone, and was always alone. Because of that, he was the perfect target for constant teasing. Ethan watched them from a distance, but never said anything, partly because he also played Roblox and was afraid they'd associate him with him. One day, the teacher decided to pair Ethan with that boy for a group project. They didn't really know each other, but as they worked on the project, Ethan ended up confessing something he never told anyone. That he also played Roblox, and that he loved everything you could do inside the game. The boy was completely shocked. He truly believed that no one else in the entire school played Roblox, and that was why he was bullied so much. That moment changed everything. From then on, they started talking more, laughing, and eventually became friends. For this story, we'll call this new friend Lucas. From that day on, Ethan and Lucas started playing Roblox together every afternoon after school. As soon as they got home, they logged in. Ethan noticed that Lucas was a strange person. He spoke very little, had odd reactions, but inside the game, he felt comfortable with him. At first, Ethan thought Lucas was just shy because he didn't have friends. But as the weeks went by, he realized the truth was much darker. Lucas began telling him what was happening at home, and every story was worse than the last. His father had serious problems with alcohol. His mother lived frustrated, full of anger, and took everything out on her son. Yelling, extreme punishments, and beatings were part of Lucas's daily life. That was why he barely spoke at school, and why he never smiled. Ethan felt deeply sorry for his friend. He wanted to help him, but didn't know how. The only thing he could do was listen and be there for him. Around that time, Roblox started filling up with more violent games, especially shooters that were popular amongst younger players. Ethan and Lucas spent hours playing those kind of games because they felt intense and exciting. They began searching for similar experiences, some badly made games, others absurd, until they found one in particular, a game that changed everything. According to Ethan, the game was called Eliminate Them. He found it by accident one night and decided to invite Lucas to try together without imagining what he was about to unleash. When the game started, the screen stayed completely black for several seconds. Then, white text appeared, slowly, almost as if it were breathing, saying,
"They bully you. Eliminate them. They hurt you. Eliminate them. Do you want to be happy? Eliminate them. Do you want to be free? Eliminate them."
Right after that, the match began. Inside the game, there were only two players. One of them was standing, holding a weapon. That was Lucas. The other player was sitting in front of him, tied to a chair, unable to move. That was Ethan. For the time they played it, the level of detail was disturbing. Everything felt too real. On Lucas's screen, a single message appeared, short and direct.
"Do it."
Lucas aimed straight at Ethan's arm. On the screen, the arm was attacked in a grotesque way, as a liquid puddle formed on the floor. Lucas went silent, completely shocked by how real everything looked. He couldn't believe it. Without saying a word, he fired again, this time at the other arm. The game played horrifying screams. They sounded real, too human. From Ethan's perspective, everything was disturbing. He could only watch as his own character was attacked, as everything was covered in red. Ethan felt a knot in his stomach. He didn't like the game at all. But Lucas was fascinated. For some reason, Lucas kept playing the game with Ethan's character, over and over again. Ethan's character eventually was literally erased. Finally, the game ended abruptly and kicked Ethan out of the match. On Lucas's screen, one final message appeared.
You finally did it. Now you're free.
After this extremely intense experience, Lucas was never the same again. Ethan says Lucas stayed still, breathing heavily. He felt something he had never felt before. A mix of euphoria, adrenaline, and absolute control. He was sure he would never forget that feeling. Lucas asked Ethan to play that game again, but Ethan refused. He didn't want to go back in there. That made Lucas furious. He complained that every time Ethan invited him to games he didn't like, he accepted without complaining. But now, when Lucas asked him, Ethan refused. Lucas began to obsess over that game. He couldn't get it out of his head. He needed to feel that experience again, but he had no one to play it with. Days passed, and the relationship between them became tense. They barely spoke. Lucas started playing alone. He missed Ethan, the only friend he had ever had in his life. Right around that time, the fights at his house got worse. His parents argued constantly, and the anger towards Lucas became more frequent, more intense. Ethan says they weren't simple punishments. It was something out of this world for a child, as if they genuinely wanted to put an end to him. And every time Lucas was living this nightmare, one phrase returned to his mind.
They hurt you. Eliminate them.
The idea repeated over and over again in his head. Lucas felt an intense emotion, something dark growing inside him. But he still didn't dare to cross that line. Despite everything, he still cared about his parents, or at least what was left of that feeling. At school, Lucas started showing up with a tired face, hollow eyes. Sometimes he had bruises on his arm, but he always hid him with a sweater. No one suspected anything. No one except Ethan. When Ethan noticed that the bruises and exhaustion were becoming more frequent, he decided to talk to him. He couldn't keep pretending nothing was happening. Lucas finally confessed everything. That the fights at home were worse than ever, that the beatings were no longer occasional, and that he felt completely alone. He didn't talk to anyone. He didn't play with anyone. That was when Ethan made a decision he would later regret. They started playing together again. From the very beginning, Lucas insisted again and again on going back to eliminate them. Ethan refused. He didn't want to relive that experience. But guilt slowly consumed him. He knew Lucas had no one else. So, out of pity, he agreed. Lucas got excited immediately. He entered the game almost desperately. Within seconds, Ethan appeared once again tied to a chair, unable to move. On Lucas's screen, messages began to appear, one after another.
You still haven't done it. Do they make you feel bad? Eliminate them. What are you waiting for?
Ethan remembers those texts as deeply disturbing. They didn't feel like lines from a normal game. They felt personal, direct, as if the game knew exactly how to erase Lucas's problems. The match began. Lucas was once again standing in front of Ethan, and without hesitation, he did it. But this time, it was different. Lucas felt an immediate, intense satisfaction, a feeling of total relief, as if playing the game made everything bad disappear. On Ethan's screen, there were only horrifying screams. The scene was far too explicit, and the experience felt real. Ethan hated that game. The sounds didn't feel like sound effects, they felt like real screams, as if someone were truly suffering on the other side of the screen. As Lucas kept aiming again and again at Ethan's character, something disturbing happened. Lucas began to smile in real life. Not a normal winner's smile, but the smile of someone deeply disturbed. Ethan swears he hadn't seen Lucas smile like that in years. In fact, he hadn't seen him laugh that way since they were little kids. When everything ended, Ethan's character no longer existed. The game kicked him out of the match, and on Lucas's screen, a single message appeared.
Do it.
Ethan says that after that, Lucas was never the same. That day, they kept playing other games, but Lucas laughed at everything. He joked, he mocked things. It made no sense. Before that, Ethan had never heard him laugh like that. The next day, Lucas didn't show up at school, and Ethan immediately grew worried. Lucas never missed class. One day passed, then another, and then another. 3 days with no news. Lucas didn't go to school, and he didn't log into Roblox either. Fear began to take over Ethan. He thought something terrible had happened. He tried messaging Lucas through Roblox, but got no response. He didn't know what to do. He didn't even know where Lucas lived. Desperate, Ethan made a risky decision. Using a computer, he accessed the system files and searched for Lucas's registered address and managed to find his house. The next afternoon, Ethan went to his friend's house. From the outside, it was clear something was wrong. The yard was completely neglected. Overgrown grass, dried plants, as if no one had been outside in days or weeks. He knocked on the door several times, but no one answered. He tried once more. Only silence. Then he tried turning the doorknob, and the door opened. It wasn't locked. That was when Ethan knew something was terribly wrong, because as soon as he stepped in, a smell hit him. So strong, so nauseating that he couldn't even explain it. It wasn't just trash or dampness. He gagged just from breathing, but still kept walking, convinced he had to find Lucas. The house had 2 floors. Ethan checked the entire first floor and found no one. No signs of movements, just silence, and that smell growing stronger with every step. So he decided to go upstairs. With every stair, the smell got worse. He felt like he was about to vomit at any single moment. Upstairs, he saw the first door slightly opened. He hesitated for a few seconds. Then he pushed it fully open. What he saw there would haunt him for the rest of his life. On the floor were Lucas's father and mother. There were clear signs that something terrible happened. An unmistakable crime scene. And that was where the horrible smell was coming from. The most disturbing part was that next to them was Lucas, sitting on the floor, gently rocking back and forth, laughing to himself as he whispered over and over again, "I'm finally free. I'm finally free." Ethan couldn't take it anymore. He dropped to his knees and vomited onto the floor. That sound was enough for Lucas to realize he wasn't alone. Lucas slowly lifted his head. Ethan says that when their eyes met, he knew something was terribly wrong. It wasn't his friends looking at him anymore. There was something different in his eyes. Lucas started laughing. He tried to stand up, as if he were gonna greet him, as if everything were completely normal. But the scene left Ethan completely traumatized and frozen with terror. So he ran out of the house without looking back. From that day on, Lucas never returned to school. Ethan was left deeply traumatized. He tells this story because he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if he should go to the police, because despite everything, Lucas is still his friend. But he also leaves us with a clear warning. You never truly know what someone is hiding, or what they're capable of. So yeah guys, be careful out there. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this story, and if you know any others like it.